on everybody, welcome back to another morning word. This is where I just share a couple minute video, really just sharing from my own personal Bible study. Why? Because I genuinely can say this, God has taken my life from here to here, and I truly believe that He wants to take your life to the next level too, because I believe that there's a purpose over your life. Now, if God gave us this command, He says, not a command, a promise, He says, I come to give you life and life more abundantly. But He didn't just give us the promise, He showed us how to get there. And one of the ways that we get there is by renewing our mind. And God says this, as a man think in his heart, so is he. So if we could think like God, there is no valley, my friends, that you can't come through. And there is no mountaintop that you can't reach, because there is nothing that is impossible for God, which means there is nothing that is impossible for you. Now I've got to say this, I'm not a teacher or anything like that. I'm not qualified to do any of this. I just wanted to share what I wanted to share. So one person can grab this and really run after their purpose. And so what I would say, study out what I'm saying for yourself. If it resonates, if it makes sense, please then take massive action, because reading alone will not get you to the next level. Okay, you've got to apply the action. So let's get into this. We're going to be reading and getting scripture inspiration from the book of 2 Samuel, which is the 10th book of the Bible. And we're going to be reading from chapter 11, verse 25, and it reads this. David told the messenger, say this to Joab. Don't let this upset you. The sword devours one as well as another. Press the attack against the city and destroy it. Say this to encourage Joab. Now I'm going to call this morning's word, sin makes the heart hard. Now, if you, I would say watch video 460, and that will tie in nicely with this video. But this is where King David's heart, and we're going to see how hard his heart had become. On the video before, he had the temptation, and he was, of lust, and instead of turning away, he looked and he gave into that temptation, and he was lusting after a woman. Now that lust then manifested itself in terms of him then calling the woman to his palace. From there, he then slept with a married woman, one of his soldiers, one of his faithful men's wife. He slept with her. Not only with that, then his heart, because he didn't resist then, and he could have repented at all these different stages, but he said no, and his heart was now hard, and he just accepted more and more evil and more wickedness. And what happened was, he then plotted to obviously kill her husband, because the wife, the lady became pregnant, and Bathsheba, she became pregnant. So he wanted to cover his tracks, so his sin was even hard. So in the end, because he couldn't cover his tracks, he had her husband murdered. What a wicked state of affairs. And all that could have stopped if he had just said, once she was on top of the rooftop bathing, I'm not going to look. I'm actually going to turn away. That's all it would have took. Just one, and then all these episodes wouldn't have happened. So we have to understand is every time that you give in to temptation, you're allowing greater temptations to come your way, because you didn't resist the easy one. Usually when temptation comes, it's in its first guise, it's easy and you can battle it. But every time you give into it, it gets that harder, because the temptation gets greater and greater and greater, because the problem is your heart gets hard and you become numb to knowing what's right and what's wrong. So you end up doing all kinds of crazy things. We see that, people who are murdering, people who are human trafficking, do you think that just happened overnight? Or do you think there was a hardening of the heart? I think there was a hardening of the heart. And little things of saying, I'm not going to do that, little temptations, they didn't follow through on. They didn't say, I'm not going to do that. They followed it through, and their hearts became hard. And we have to look at that. We do have to look at that. The temptation to overeat, the temptation to miss the gym, the temptation to curse that person out of work, the temptation not to forgive. All these are little temptations, but they lead somewhere, my friends. So that really leads me to the question of the morning. The question of the morning is this. How is your ability to say no and resist? How is your ability to say no and resist? Here's the lesson of the day. Lesson of the day is this. Daily we are faced with the challenges of resisting temptation or giving into temptation. What we have to realize is every time we resist temptation, the easier it becomes and the softer your heart becomes. But every time you give into temptation, the harder your heart becomes and the harder it is to resist. So here's the action today, very similar to video 460. Become strong in resisting temptation by saying no to temptation when it's small enough for you to handle. Okay, so God bless you. Thanks for joining us. As we always say, we Gen Hope, God's gift to us is life. What we do with that life is our gift back to God. Thank you. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and Gen TV, where we have all of these videos, over 400 plus videos. for morning words, daily inspiration, but also a wealth of other videos to take your life to the next level. So God bless you. Thanks for joining us. Please also share this video with one person. The reason I ask that is that you don't even have to share the video, just share the principle. Help someone to turn their life around by saying no to sin. You know, help someone to stop their lives being wrecked because they didn't say no early enough. You can do that by just sharing this principle. So God bless you, and I will see you soon for another morning.